And there we go. Welcome, everyone. This is the time for us to answer your questions and share about our Pathways to Clean Energy Careers program. So we have some really fun people that will be speaking to you. Mine will not be the only voice you hear this evening, though you will start with me a bit to share some of the background. So I am really excited and grateful for your attendance and want to share just about Solar Austin in general. I'm a big fan of an agenda, so you know what's coming. I highly doubt this is going to take an hour and a half of our time. That said, I am ready and willing to take up as much time as you all need to answer any questions. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Here's what you can expect today. We're going to talk a little bit about the Solar Austin mission as a whole, the vision of the program. You're also going to hear from some of our past Pathways participants, specifically who were companies that hosted interns. We feel like I could talk to you all day. I am deeply committed and love the work of this organization and the Pathways program specifically, but ultimately we want you to have really actionable items that you can work on and think about as you're hosting some interns. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the nuts and bolts of the program, and I'm going to share some upcoming deadlines and events as well. So I want to do some quick intros of Kaiba and myself. I'm Tatianna Cannon. I'm the newly minted Executive Director of Solar Austin. I am the first ever Executive Director, and I'm thrilled to be serving as your contact for all things Pathways. So I will be your frontline connect for anything and everything. And Kaiba, if you want to introduce yourself, Kaiba is our board president and also the Pathways Committee Chair.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Tatianna. Glad to be here. I've been with Solar Austin for the better part of a decade now, but the Pathways to Clean Energy Careers program is new within the past couple of years for us, but it has really taken off, and it's something that I'm very excited about being involved in because it really provides a very direct service to the community and to people that we're looking to help out get into the industry. And I just love being part of that. And I do see it as very complementary to the work that I do at Public Citizen, which is focused on energy and climate policy. So it's great to be helping young folks get into this industry that we absolutely need to have growing and expanding throughout the state. So yeah, I'll be here to answer questions for a little while. I'm not going to be able to stay the whole time because gotta help get my baby to bed, but yeah, happy to be here.
Thanks, Kaiba. And Kaiba is very humble in her presentation, but she has done much work alongside our board, who you will see on this next, or on one of our next slides. These are the people who are doing the work and helping us accomplish all of the different parts of Solar Austin's mission. So let me tell you a little bit about that. We actually began in 2002. We're a chapter of the Texas Solar Energy Society. So we do work closely with our partners around the state and nationally to spread the gospel of solar and renewables. And we are so proud to do so. We are a 501c3 and C4, so we are able to function as both a nonprofit and an advocacy, a policy advocate for solar education programs, for community engagement, etc. So we do a lot other than Pathways, but we are thrilled to tell you about Pathways tonight. Here are some of the other things we do. We do policy advocacy, solar education. We have monthly happy hours. I know some of you have attended and you are always invited. And we also do community installations and are continuing to expand and grow on those and have exciting things in store there. So as I mentioned, this is our board. This is a dedicated group of volunteers that has kept this mission going. And I am so honored and thrilled to join the team and help move the work forward. So So in terms of what we all came here for, I would like to tell you about pathways. And as I shared, we have a couple of our guest speakers that will be coming to talk to you today. And really, it is their voice that I hope that you hear, because there's just so much good that comes from this program and so many exceptional ways that you can engage. So I'm really excited to share a little bit more of it about you. I would love to see if people can do the little hand raise function or give me some sort of indication of familiarity with Zoom. Do people, not Zoom, I'm so sorry, with pathways. Do people know a lot, a little? Tell me in the chat, how much knowledge are you coming to the table with? Is this a brand new program to you? Is this something you've heard about? Have you hosted an intern before? I just want to do a quick check for where everyone's coming, while everyone has a chance to look at this slide as well before I give some voice to it. So any willing souls to share in the chat? Brand new, read a little, love it, Linda. Thank you for sharing. Oh, hey, Amber. Okay, perfect. Okay, we've got a wide variety. So I'm just gonna plug through. Thanks for letting me know where we stand, team. So the Pathways to Clean Energy Careers was started. The program was started a couple of years ago now, and it was initially a pilot program with Houston-Tilliston University. And we worked really closely with them to truly build out a pilot that we thought had legs. And here we are, about to launch our 4th semester. And what we have experienced is rapid growth. So not only did we find something that has some legs, we also found something that really brings a benefit to the community in tangible ways, to the community, to your company, to the individual students. Ultimately, our goal is exactly what the title says. We want to facilitate pathways for underrepresented students to the clean energy sector. So this includes women. We view inclusion and diversity as across a wide variety of identities. We know that in clean energy careers, there is still a gender gap. So we do focus a lot of our recruitment efforts on female interns that are interested. We're also looking for racial and ethnic diversity as well, and diversity of interest. I very intentionally selected the people you're going to hear from today to also share diversity of roles. So there are a lot of different ways that you can utilize an intern. And I have shared very openly, Solar Austin will likely also hire an intern from this applicant pool. So we deeply believe in the people that we are promoting. We do our best to recruit students, serve as a conduit between you and the potential intern pool, and really match you with people that will enhance the work that you're doing, but also that you will enhance their lives. So we partner with local companies that are committed to increasing their diversity and inclusion. And we then recruit the underrepresented students to help fill some of those gaps. We also provide training and support throughout the program, as well as mentorship opportunities. So it is truly, as much as we can make it, a wraparound support sort of program. And we are so honored to do the work. As I teased over and over, I am not the person you came to see necessarily, and I know that. So that is my quick overview of the Pathways program. And I wanted to tee it up for some of our guests. So I saw Alicia join the call, and Amber, I know you're here too. I know Sarah said she may be running. Oh, hey, Sarah. So everybody's here. These fantastic women. And I have to say, I was very intentional about who we selected to come speak to you all. All of these women have been deeply engaged in the program, have some great hands-on tips for hosting an intern. And I really prompted them with the, tell us what drew you to the program. Tell us what that looked like. And what would you say to someone who was interested in participating with Pathways? So rather than me give you bullet point items, I thought it would be great to hear from them and to let them share a little bit. So we have representatives with us from NovaSource, Dividend, and FTC Solar. You'll see Sarah Herman talking to you, Alicia Cloud, and Amber Gallagher Schranz. I will actually leave it up to you ladies. Everybody looks great. Thank you for joining. Does anybody want to kind of open the remarks for us?
I'm happy to.
Oh, go ahead, Sarah.
Okay. I knew that was going to happen. We all go at the same time. Okay, hi everyone. I'm Sarah Herman. I am with NovaSource Power Services, and this past summer was our first year participating in the Pathways internship program, and it has been it was a really great event, or just like a really great partnership. We're looking forward. We've already had like a lot of brainstorming about how we can expand next year and what sorts of jobs. I guess maybe a little bit of how we came to link up with Solar Austin, the Pathways program. So NovaSource was formed about a year and a half ago. We were carved out from SunPower, the O&M, the operations and maintenance division. And so the past year and a half has been a flurry of activity of just trying to stand up the company and really decide, like, what is our culture? What do we believe about diversity? How do we promote more diversity and inclusion, and just kind of create this company that we have an opportunity, a really cool opportunity to kind of start from scratch. And so we have talked a lot about how do we do better with diversity? How do we get, better recruitment, those types of things, without a lot of success at this point. It's just kind of been a tough nut to crack with everything going on. And so when we learned about the Pathways program, we thought, okay, well, this is a really great way to not only get some great support for some interns, but also dip our toes in these waters, get some advice from the Solar Austin crew. How do we do that? And then really just learn through the internship program to see, like, what don't we know that we didn't know, and how do we improve going forward? And yeah, it just was a great experience. We had 4 interns. They ranged a whole span of just different scopes. So we had a computer engineering student who came and did a lot of technical work for us. We had a business development student come and help us with our business development group. We had someone help us with our supply chain group, with some of our recycling programs. And then we had someone who had just recently graduated with like an international affairs kind of degree, and like a great artist, and really was just interested in renewable energy. And she helped us in our project management group with some of our newsletter content creation. And it just really was a great range of folks. And I was super impressed that we were able to get such a wide range with the projects. I'll stop rambling, Tatianna, maybe let some of the others kind of give their background as well.
I love your rambling.
Okay.
I actually was over here all giddy. I was able to attend the final presentations that were presented by the interns at NovaSource, and it was really remarkable to watch how talent was utilized and to see how the projects presented at completion genuinely were a value add to the work that was being done, and allowed some of that outside of the box thinking, some of those, back burner projects that stay really back burner because nobody has the bandwidth to get to it. So I appreciate that. You did remind me when you were pausing your wonderful non-rambling remarks. If you all have questions, I definitely want these ladies to be able to answer them for you as well as me. So please feel free. This is a casual affair. Interrupt us. Chat it in. Feel free to ask questions while everyone is talking. Sarah, I think that's a wonderful introduction to your work. Alicia, I don't know if you want to share some words, and then we can see if there's some questions pause prior to Amber's remarks as well. I think you're still muted, my dear.
I think I got it. Yeah. All right. I'm a professional forgetter to unmute her. Also, because my dog's being a real energetic person right now, so you'll hear him interject from time to time because it's so lovely. So I'm outside. So man, Sarah, your experience of I love what I heard was that, like, it sounds like you all from your creation just were able to throw your doors open to the availability for interns. Dividend is kind of like a teenage startup, and we all have been running so hard and with so little extra bandwidth that I would say that, like, for our company, there was not that possibility to think that we're going to create positions for, we started with one, and that was our first one that we have ever had in Dividend in the operations team. So in ours was a different experience that I would like to speak to, and that was like what it was to bring an intern into a company that we're a financial institution, so we're governed by a lot of regulations, like HR and our diversity and inclusion committee were super excited about it, and also like legal and the actual logistics of managing an intern were kind of a question marks for my company. So I really want to speak to what the benefit is to sticking it out to answer those questions inside of the company. This internship opportunity was brought to me by someone who's really special to me. She presented about it in our peer mentorship group inside of my professional group. I'm a member of RISE, the Women in Renewable Industries and Sustainable. I can't remember what the acronym stands for right now. But anyway, this was presented about, and it came at a time when my team was experiencing rapid growth, and we just have so little bandwidth, but we had I could see the clear need of what someone could do for us for 12 hours a week. And so I wanted to really participate because it seemed like a real win for everybody. Like, that we could have this 12 hours of kind of rhythmic work done, but that also we could do that in the realm of participating inside of this internship. So it was really great to see my company bend and flex to wrap our heads around what it looks like to spend time investing in someone's growth and development at a time where it feels like the team is stretched so thin that we couldn't possibly take on yet another thing. That was really the questions that, like, my bosses all were very supportive of the idea, but what they really wanted to know was like, how are you going to find extra time to grow somebody when there's all of this stuff to do? And so I think that that's probably one of the most common questions that we've all got to come up against when we're trying to interject and intern into a workflow that's already like seemingly full of things to get done. And so, really, I'm not going to pretend that I know the answer. All I can do is really say that it was worth it. What there was to do was have a set of conversations with people around what it looks like to break off and delegate. And I think in that caused a lot of leadership conversations just inside of like that if we don't all think that there's not 5 hours of our own week that we spend doing things that we could have someone else do for us, if we were committed to that person's success. That's like, it often seems like extra to teach someone, but that first of all, y'all's interns, my interns have been top class human beings, like really exciting human beings. And what they added back to our team was way more than I feel like we gave to them in some ways. So they definitely gave to us everything that we gave to them. And the ability to ask, I'd not only asked myself to do this, but I asked others on my team to find like, what are the things that you're doing that don't, like, you're an expert in your field. What are the things that you could do? What are the things that you could have someone else do for you, leaving more time for you to be an expert in your field? And so I think that that's all of that is really valuable leadership conversations inside of a team. So it wasn't intuitive for our company to make way for this program. And ultimately, we are left so much better for it, both the conversations inside of the team, the people that we now have in our lives, and then like what our company has figured out about how we feel about interns, instead of us feeling like they're this thing that something more that we do, was kind of the general feeling about an intern in the beginning. But that's what's shifted tremendously for us, is this idea that it's not actually extra, but brings us so much value that it's worth the investment. It's like investing $1 and getting 4 out. It's like a no-brainer after we actually implemented it, but that wasn't what people thought it was going to be. People thought it was going to be $3 in, $1 out. And it's actually a flip now that we've seen it in action. So
Thank you.
we're all busy people.
I love that. Capacity building is key. We all have so many things crammed into our day. I absolutely love those words. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to encourage everyone to still, if you have questions, please drop them in the chat. And I'm going to just immediately pass the floor to Amber so she can share some thoughts and tips and tricks. And if you have questions, break in.
Okay, I have my little assistant joining me tonight because she wants to see what I'm doing. So as I present, she'll just be popping in and out. So
hey, girlfriend.
So anyways, my name is Amber, Amber Gallagher Trans. I'm the global marketing manager for FTC Solar, also a mom of 3, and this is my youngest. FTC Solar is very involved in the Austin community.
Don't do that.
We were led to the Pathways program through Catherine Beisner, who's one of our sales operations managers, and we decided that it would be a great fit. Hosting a Solar Austin intern was a benefit to FTC Solar because it supported our efforts in bringing diversity into FTC and, of course, into the renewable energy industry. It also provided us a way to source excellent candidates for us to continue to fill that pipeline, right, to hire full-time employees after they graduate. But more than that, when you think about this as a whole, being in the solar industry allows us a very unique experience. It's a very unique opportunity to have some small part. Don't touch that. No, to have some small part in changing the world. When you look about changing the world and making it sustainable for future generations, you got to think about that comes with mentoring and training our young people, right? Our future needs professional mentorship and hands-on experience. So with the Pathways program, it exposes students to a bunch of different job types, right? It exposes them to maybe some different verticals that they wouldn't have thought about before. So FTC Solar has many different areas of opportunity. Some of those include, no thank you, such as engineering, project management, marketing, strategy, supply chain, research and development, human resources, field services, and the list just goes on and on and on. And I've learned that sometimes students need to experience what a certain job type is like before they decide that that's what they want to commit to for the rest of their life, right? They just kind of need to say, oh, you know what? I thought project management was going to be a little bit different. So I'm deciding I'm really not going to do that, or I didn't like that. So it gives them that opportunity. And then some students may do 2 or 3 internships before they really find out what they're passionate about and what they like. So additionally, one of the other benefits was it brought a fresh pair of eyes and a different perspective to things. And then importantly for the sustainability of renewable energy, because I'm in that industry, it plants those seeds that if I can encourage these interns to know that their small part at FTC can make an impact in the world, it just helps them feel that sense of purpose and that sense of I can too make a difference. And I can make a difference by the company I choose to work for and the company I choose to work with. So, and some good news is we actually have one intern that we decided to hire on full time after his internship was completed. And we were super excited about that as well, because again, to what my fellow panelists here have mentioned, you pay $1, you get $4 out. You know, you get so much more out of these interns than you'd expect, and they're here to learn. So some tips and best practices that I would give to someone who is unfamiliar with managing a diverse intern or just somebody who's relatively new to solar in general is start off simple. You don't have to have every day mapped out for them, right? So start off simple. Number 2 is just allow them to attend meetings and be a fly on the wall. Give them the first week or 2 to kind of settle in, attend meetings, just to kind of learn about your company. Bring them into any meetings that you have, right? And just let them listen to how the meeting works, and then allow them to ask questions. Get to know your intern, right? You got to find out what their interests are, what they like, and then what they're and what they're passionate about.
I want pink and yellow.
She likes to paint her nails, so excuse me while I get her nail polish. In addition to that, you got to allow them the ability to try something new. Part of with my intern that I hosted this summer, my company hosted, I think, 15 or 20. It was quite a bit, and I had one working for me. Once I understood her skill set, right, I formed a simple program around what she can do for me, right? So if I had a takeaway. Like, for example, we had some aerial drone photography and some aerial drone video footage. And I said, hey, I got this video. You said that you were familiar with some video editing and that you've done that before. Would you like to take a try at putting this video together or editing it for me? And then I'll review it with you and we'll just keep going until we get something that we're both comfortable with. And she was so excited to take that project on. Okay. She was so excited, and it gave her an opportunity to not only do something for me that I needed done, but it also gave her something that was able to be a benefit to her resume. Because what we don't realize is that anything we give them to do, it's going to help them on their resume no matter what. And that's what we're trying to build. Is we're not only trying to build some tangible deliverables for us that they can help us do, but we want them to have something solid. We want to have them something solid for their resume, so when they talk to other businesses and go out for other internships, they can have something to show for it. So anyways, also provide the ability for training resources. One of the things I had my intern do was, we use a lot of software here that maybe she might not be familiar with. One being Smartsheets, one being Salesforce, and of course Outlook and Vimeo and everything else that we utilize. I said, hey, I give you permission for these couple of days. All I want you doing is taking notes and watching videos and learning how to do something new. This way, if I tell you to do an edit in Smartsheets for me, or if I tell you to do something, you'll have the background to do it, or at least a little bit more of a head start. So I truly enjoyed this experience, and I want to leave it open because I have to jump off the call to another company meeting that I have. But I'm open for you guys to call me, ask questions. I'm here also to support Solar Austin and the Pathways program, because I'm a big proponent of encouraging our young minds to think outside the box and empowering them, because they are our future generation. So yeah, any questions, send them my way, Tatianna. You have my contact information, and I just thank you for the time to present tonight.
Thank you so much for being here. And I know Amber has an all hands call that she is hopping to. And she also is joining us from the East Coast. So she's an hour later than us. So thank you so much for sharing and for giving some direct tips. I'm going to pause right now. I saw some questions on the nuts and bolts of the program, which is something we're going to talk about in a second. Does anybody have questions for our guests that you would like to ask before we move on? Okay, it looks like we don't have any at the moment. However, I encourage you to continue chatting in. Let me know if you do have other questions. I wanted to put a face to some of the people that were just being talked about and the Pathways interns that we are referencing as we're having these conversations. So these are two of our interns that I wanted to highlight. We actually just featured both of them for a fundraising campaign we were doing earlier this year. Both of them ended up working at the company that they interned with. So the reason I highlight these specifically is, again, to what Alicia shared, we really try to do our due diligence on our end as Solar Austin to bring you the absolute most quality candidates and best fit that maybe just wouldn't be on your radar otherwise. And so Joshua Eduave and Olivia Corlett, two interns that we hosted in past semesters, they're now continuing their work in the clean energy career. So again, I wanted to just give them the interns a face so you can see who we're talking about. Here's some of the expectations on your end. The financial commitment is to pay our interns $15 an hour. We believe in paying interns a livable wage. Again, we know that these are students coming from underrepresented communities, and as a part of our program and honoring the vision and mission we have to really bring these communities forward, we require financially on your end, that is the only requirement, a $15 minimum wage. Your time commitment is weekly check-ins or bi-weekly. We're really flexible, and some of the women on the call can attest, depending on your schedule, we are really there as a resource and support. But we'll continue to check in with you, whether it's me managing the program as the executive director, the advisory committee, we have DEI consultants, and we're really just here to address sticking points and anything else that you may run into while hosting an intern. We recognize that there is oftentimes that learning curve, and so we want to be a support there. So in terms of expectations, $15 an hour, and this is what you have to expect. I'll share some perks before I share a little bit of the upcoming timeline and pause for some more questions. We do assist with the management of the interns. So we are checking in with them regularly as well. Most interns, it's a weekly check-in. So we just say, what are the conversations you're having at work? What are the projects you're working on? How can we support you? Do you need to have a tough conversation? How can we help prepare you for that? We also work to advertise you, as we shared for the interns that we just featured in our fundraising campaign. We are, as Solar Austin, a conduit of solar. And so however we can spread the gospel of solar, we are here to do that. And that includes if you have something great happening at your company, if there is something happening in the local landscape that is newsworthy and noteworthy, in the agreement you sign with us, we map out for you how we can just share our marketing, how we can increase our audiences together. And then we also, as many of our guest speakers shared, we recognize that the Pathways program can assist us gap filler. Maybe you're building up your diversity and inclusion efforts within your company. Maybe you're not sure where to start, or maybe you're already well into the process and would just love to welcome a new intern to the fold, and maybe just want to keep up with what the conversations are being had in terms of the expertise and the best practices for diversity, equity, and inclusion right now. We do our best to provide those resources to you in real time. We give you a bit of a sort of library of resources, but continue to be in contact to be a resource for best practices as well. I wanted to highlight this because in case you are here tonight and you think, I don't know if my company's ready, but I would love to talk to some of these interns, we do have the opportunity to be a mentor. So again, I'm going to send everyone this presentation who is attending, as well as any of the associated links, things to sign up. I did chat into the link or chat into the chat box for Zoom, some of the links that you will need. But if this isn't the fit, we still want to be your pal at Solar Austin, and we want to continue doing this work alongside you however we can. So here's some dates that I'll just leave up on the screen. Right now, as I shared earlier, I am new to this Solar Austin party. And when I came in, it was in our third semester of the Pathways program. And I am really underselling it, no matter how much I emphasize the growth. What started as a pilot at targeted university with a bit of a pipe dream grew really quickly. So many who spoke, I think everyone who spoke actually had summer interns that they placed this year. And we will plan to, moving forward, place every spring, summer, and fall semester for universities. However, we took this fall off to kind of get our ducks in a row and make sure that we're doing the best by you as our participating companies, really working to vet our interns, clean up our system. So the conversations we're talking about are about hiring an intern in January. That said, in order to get there, we're hoping, and I will share with you fine folks on the call, we would love to have you fill out that Google form that I chatted in, and I'll share it again. We would need that submission from you by September 24th. I like to call that a bit more of an interest indicator. You do have an option to upload an internship description directly on that form. However, an internship job description, I should say. However, if you don't have that available, I'll follow up with you. We can work through the nuts and bolts of what that will look like. I loved what Alicia said, because maybe you don't know if you have the capacity, but I would be happy to work with you on how is an intern building capacity rather than feeling like a detraction from your normal workflow. So on October 7th, less than a month away, is theoretically, and fingers crossed that we have another wonderful pool of applicants. We've got some great intern applications already. We will have a whole crop of interested interns. We will also have all interested companies who let us know by September 24th in a same space virtually like this. And that's where you can meet each other, meet some of the students, talk about the program with past participants, both students and companies, and really just learn a bit more about what this looks like. And then moving through the fall, we will have other dates that have not yet been set to help onboard you with some diversity and inclusion training. We will simultaneously be onboarding the interns, offering them those same supports that are tailored for them. And we will begin internships in January of 2022. I know that one of the questions that Sam asked in the chat that isn't reflected here, but is reflected in the form you can fill out. We have options available across the board in terms of remote work, in-person work in Central Texas, number of hours. If you need an intern for 10 hours a week or for close to full time, we can accommodate any of that. Again, I like to think of it as a little dating service, whatever that algorithm is. We are the humans of that algorithm that take the needs that you have for your specific internship position, and we match that with the interns that can provide that. So at the same time that you are telling us we have an internship available in this department across this workflow, doing XYZ for W numbers of hours a week, then we will recruit those interns, work to place them with you. And through the process, we will actually give you 2 candidates that you can interview. So we come to you with a couple of options of an intern that you can speak to, hear about their experience. We'll share with you what we glean from them in our interviews with them. And as our wonderful esteemed guest shared tonight, it tends to work pretty well, but it is a very hands-on process, and I will be your point of contact working through that. And Alicia, this is great feedback that Sam, this is for you, that Dividend has employed 2 interns 100% remotely since March 2021. I would be remiss if I didn't double down on this comment and say that we are open to internships anywhere in the United States if there is a remote option. And we're exclusively placing students from Central Texas. However, if you have a need in your company that's on the East Coast or West Coast or what have you, we do place remotely. And as we're hopefully rounding the corner of the era of all of us being locked in our homes, we are looking forward to the spring to have some in-person placements as well. So both of those options are available. I've been talking quite a bit, so I am going to pause and see if anyone has questions that they want to chat in, or Sarah and Alicia as well. If anything I have said reminded you of something you don't want to get off this call without giving voice to, please feel free as well.
I don't think that I mentioned that we hired both of our interns. So there's that.
That's a stat we really like. And I think those interns do too.
Yeah, this is Sarah. I would just add that really the flexibility piece was like just really finding the people and finding the right fit. And Solar Austin did a great job of really making sure that, you know, we started with 3 positions. We found 4 candidates that we really loved. So we expanded to a 4th position. And then one of the candidates we really only had a part-time project for. And so we found someone that would work well. And it just really was tailored, you know, for everybody.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Does anyone else have questions? I'm going to once again link in to this chat the application link that I shared a bit earlier. I know we've had some others hop on and off. So what I'm chatting into you now is the link directly to fill out the interest indicator form. And then I will also chat into you. Where did my brain go? Oh, the website. So you can get more information there as well. I've seen some people unmute, come off camera, things like that. Anybody have questions?
Hi, Tatianna. This is Sam.
Hey, Sam, welcome. My new LinkedIn connection.
Yeah. First off, Sarah, I'm so happy that Project Texas actually went. It's awesome.
It happened. It happened. Yeah.
We are SunPower alum, as are plenty of the Solar Austin folks. And it sounds like you had a really good experience. I was really involved at the front end of this from the board perspective. And then I've been busy over the last 12 months, sort of getting ready to launch a startup. So it's really interesting to see what this looks like from the company's perspective. And it sounds like it's been a smashing success, which is awesome. I'm curious, like Alicia, it sounds like your experience is probably going to be similar to what mine will be. And I'm if you're like a juvenile startup, I'm like an infant startup. And so I'm really curious, like if you had rewound the tape in your company's life cycle, like several years, and then brought in an intern, would it have exacerbated any of those sort of like question marks around structure? Because as a startup, like so much of the structure is being built on the fly. And I think for the right person, it could be a really awesome experience, but it's also a question of, I guess, trusting Tatianna's algorithm. But Alicia, if you could speak to that at all, that would be great.
I love that. Well, I mean, that you're in this early means you're part of not only making the structure of the startup, but also the culture of the startup. So I think that's what's really valuable here is that yeah, inserting this now means that becomes part of y'all's growth fabric. And gosh, just imagining all of that good energy coming in to support you all from that intern level as a culture of the fabric, that's exciting because that'll keep y'all really accountable to what your goals are. That's what I find in this group our two interns that we've hired, and then our admin that's the same age group, is like, man, they are really keeping all of us honest as far as like what our passions are and why we're doing what we're doing. And that's we couldn't have had that in that particular way without them. So I'm very thankful to them for bringing that to our culture of our team. So that's to say, heck yeah.
Awesome.
I'm like as much too, because man, it's burnout is real. And so if we have a culture in our team which is like, I'm so important, I can't even take the time to if it's like that, that's what leads, like we couldn't possibly have an intern because I'm so busy. If you're that busy, then you're going to burn out, and that's like worst impact for the team possible. So if the culture of the team is like, stop, take a breath, teach one, like I can't promote you until somebody else can do your job, if that becomes the culture of each one teach one, then that I really feel that is longevity in action on the day-to-day level. Burnout's real.
No, that's really good advice. I mean, I feel like so many of us are in this renewable space because we value health. And yet if you're just grinding yourself 20 hours a day, that's not healthy. So like you got to build sustainability into your culture as well. So having some young folks around that can help and bring some of the vitality, I could certainly see that being very, very valuable. So thanks for that.
If we can't take a day off, then our team doesn't have the opportunity to demonstrate their leadership abilities. So our first order is to be able to take days off with ease.
I like that. That's great.
What other questions or just musings do people have? Also, Sam, I'm glad you shared your Solar Austin history. I see your name on many a Google Doc, and I just feel like a creep whenever people show up that I, know through files. It's just like, oh, hey, you old friend, I've read your work.
I'm a lawyer, so I'm a creep a lot. I see it.
Okay, cheers. You get it. Does anybody else have questions or things they'd like to share before we hop off? Kaiva can attest, I'm a big fan of efficient meetings. I love telling people what they need to know and then getting out the door. So I am happy to give you all some time back in your evening, but I want to make sure we're able to answer any questions or hear any feedback you may have. Or Kaiba, while you're still here, I don't know if you have anything you'd like to share. You're muted.
Sorry.
Welcome back.
I actually do have to leave here, but I am also available, if any questions come up down the line. I would encourage everyone to start now on that job description, because definitely the thing that will help us most in giving you the right candidates for your internship position is having a good job description that represents what it is that you want the intern to do, and if there are any specific qualifications. But don't load it up with qualifications that you don't need, because that can, inadvertently kind of exclude folks who might be perfect. So give that some thought and start early, because that's the first thing that we will be pestering you for.
Those are fantastic words from Kaiba. Those are the best practices I like to hear. Thank you so much. Does anybody else have any questions or things they want to share before we hop off? Okay, doesn't look like it. I had this slide up, but I'll go ahead and say it out loud. In addition to thanking each of you for taking some time to attend and chat with us a little bit tonight, I want to thank you for being a pathway provider and not a gatekeeper. Kaiba has something.
I have a request.
Yeah.
I know we already lost a couple people, but since we don't have any in-person meetings anymore, I would love it if everybody would pop on their video for just a second so we could take a screenshot.
Oh, I love this. I can handle screenshotting too.
All right.
Okay, I think we have almost everyone. Do we have any more people willing to hop on camera? Got you. Hey, pretty. I'm gonna go for it.
Thanks, y'all.
Everybody looks great. Thank you. Okay, thank you everybody for joining. You will receive an email from me with all of this information. And I am your point of contact, so I'll look forward to talking to you more soon. Thanks, team.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You too.